Hello, my excellent artists. Today you are going to be continuing with linear perspective and doing a room in your sketchbook. You may do robots, you may not. I first just want to say thank you for being amazing for Mr. Wolf. And also remember, it is so important to be super helpful with each other. Perspective is different for different people and different brains. They're all valuable, and it's something that if you take to really well and you understand, please look around you, offer up your help. And if it's something that is challenging, be okay with that. It is tough. I struggle with it, and ask for help, please. Okay, in this packet, real quick. If you did not finish any of the people drawing, animal drawing, any of that, you're not doing that while Mr. Wolf is here. Please make sure to plan to come to Flex and or check in with me, and you can make it all up later, but not during the linear perspective unit. If you finish early with this before you start, never mind, ignore that, because this should be the day where everyone should be continuing on, and you'll need more than just when Mr. Wolf is here to finish this. So, in this packet, of course, make sure you get every page that says to do, like this is an example, this is due to. They say how many to do, but this one on the 2-point boxes, try 2 of them. And then you're going to try out the 2-point street or city, and also the 1-point room practice before you get to the yellow packet. This is a square. I just want to emphasize it's a different approach than when you're doing this in your sketchbook. So we're going to be doing a room. You are going to use this. This is along with this, with the directions and reminder about lines, will be in a packet on your table. These must go back in the packet at the end of class, please. They're just examples. Okay. First, I need to find the middle of my page, and I'm going to create this back wall. So that is the back wall of the room. And if you find this to be simple, you've done it, you feel super comfortable with perspective in this way, please take on a bigger challenge. I do not want you to be bored, and I don't want you to not learn anything. So you should use the slideshow that's in Canvas, and there's 2-point perspective video directions and examples, and there's also a 3-point perspective video. So please, please, please do something that is challenging to you and interesting. Okay, first I'm just finding the middle. I'm using a longer ruler. You can borrow one longer one for your table, and you're finding the middle. So I'm not drawing a whole line. I'm just going to around the middle make a mark, and then I'm using the very corner of my paper. If you want to rip your paper out of your sketchbook because the spiral could be kind of annoying, feel free. Okay, this is my center. This is my vanishing point. This is like a horizon line if I am standing, and this is my eye level. So that is my eye. I really only need that point. I don't need all this, but this is just telling you this is horizon line. I found the center. Okay, now I'm going to make a 3x5, so 3 inches by 5 inches back wall. So I'm going to use my ruler, and this is 5 inches. I do need to make sure, does this ruler's 0 start at the edge, or does it start inside? And this silver one starts at the very edge. This one does not. So just make sure you're correct with that. So 5 inches, I'm going to find the middle, which is 2.5. So I'm going to make a little mark at the 5, and it's helpful to kind of do that down here too. Then this is 3 inches. So the 3, half of 3 is 1.5. I'm going to make my mark. Okay, I can now use a couple different techniques. I can use this T-square. And by the way, you can always pause this and people can catch up. So this is the problem though with you might want to rip this out because the T-square lines up to the edge of the paper. It's also not always perfect and accurate. The best thing to do would be to make a couple marks so that you have an accurate 3 inches by 5 inches. Because I do think these are kind of cheapo. So like on this one, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use my other ruler, and I'm going to line up to my 5 because I made a couple marks here. But otherwise it'd be best to make a multiple marks. You also will have a little 3x5 template. So if you're really struggling to get this, you can use this, but you do need these marks to line that up, okay? All right, and again, I'm kind of rushing this, but accuracy is super important with this unit. If you like kind of fudge your lines, don't use your ruler, things will be off, and it can also affect other things. So I beg of you to, unlike most things I talk about in art, be precise with this, try to be, and use your resources of your ruler. Okay, so I don't need to draw this whole line. I'm trying to get a wall and a floor, and I'm ignoring now the corners of my paper. I'm just working with this box and the vanishing point. Okay, so I'm going to, this is like, I don't need this line, but you know that I'm always putting my diagonals, almost always, to the vanishing point, goes to the edge, okay? Now this one, vanishing point, corner of the room. Ignore the corner of your paper. Oh, great. Okay, now that's my floor. Now I need to do the same thing up here. Vanishing point, corner of the room to get my ceiling and my walls. Vanishing point, corner of the room. Okay, now I have walls, ceiling, floor. Okay, now I'm going to add to my floor, and I'm going to do these lines first. Okay, I'm gonna make mine, I'm not gonna do every single line for the sake of time in this video, so I'm gonna have you all mark out 1/2 inches. So half, 1 inch, 1.5, 2. So by 1/2 inches, you make marks. Okay. Then you're going to, and I'm going to skip one for the sake of time for the video, but I want you to do every 1/2 inch. I mean, you also can aesthetically choose a different floor, but I can't do a video. Okay. All right, so I did like jumbo because I skipped. Then this is an interesting trick. This is actually kind of out of order, but if you do a diagonal from the corner to one of your legs over on the other corner, it's going to give you correct width of your tiles this way. It's a wild trick I'm not going to get into right now. So I take that corner, and I'm actually going to line it up with this one. I'm skipping and doing less, so I hope this works out correctly. Then I'm going to take this, and I'm going to draw, sorry, the camera, don't get me started on making this film and how complicated it got. Okay, so, and you can do as wide as you want, but what you're noticing is that these squares are getting bigger as they get closer. Remember, everything that is further away, even if I'm bird's eye view looking down, this tile and this tile are going to be the same size, but I'm not bird's eye view. I'm standing looking in this direction. This is smaller looking than this. Okay, then you're going to add in windows and doors, okay? So, and I'm gonna pause and start the next video for windows and doors because this is too long.